welcome to fmtraining.tv. My name is Margaret. I'll be your broadcast engineer for today. I'm here with the wonderful Nick. Hey Nick, how you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Good, glad to hear it. We're doing day 2 today of custom themes and shared styles, which is really awesome. It's kind of like one of Nick's specialties, so we always love having him on to talk about this stuff. So today's gonna be day 2, and tomorrow will be day 3 of custom themes and shared style, and that'll wrap that up. If you'd like to support the channel, which I would appreciate, feel free to pick up one of these options right here. They're all FM training. We do video training. We do really in-depth animated short form video training. By short form, I mean like the videos anywhere from 4 to like 30 minutes at max. They're very focused. We cover a huge variety of topics. We talk a lot about it on the live stream as well. The live stream is kind of more general sometimes, or we cover very specific things. And we also, if you're looking for answers, something really, really specific, sometimes like the straight answer to that is going to be much easier to find in our video training than it is me find in our live stream collection. So, with that all being said, if you've bought that, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Nick, what are we doing today?
Today we do day two under themes and custom style and so everything that is on the layout pretty much, right? So we talk about yesterday we talked about objects, states of object, type of objects, right? So this object, all the objects sometimes complicated to understand. I'm going to talk about this briefly while I'm going to build the new theme. So I'm going to show how we build a new theme, right? So we can start away and start with this right away and not talking too much because I want to show things. Okay. So yesterday we talked about object and stuff like this. So there's another category of object that I want to show you is the controls, the controls, which are those things here, right? Drop down, pop up, check boxes. Those things are objects that combine fields and icons, right? For example, if I take the pop-up menu and I put a value list, right? So if I have a pop-up menu here, you can see you have an icon here. You have an arrow. We cannot change the icon. The icon we have here is the icon, right? We don't have a lot of control here. We can increase the size of the text, of course. And here we have many things here. So this object here is not just one object, it's three, right? So you have the pop-up menu, which is we can change the background, right? And the border, right? So this is the object itself. Then we have the button. So what is the button? The button is the part here that I'm going to show you right now. So if I put something here, yes, I know. So this is the button. So you have an object. It has a field, a button, and of course, since it's a button, you have an icon, right? So on the button, of course, you have many controls, right? You can put a background on the button and you can change, right? And you can change the icon and you have all the control of the icon, which is the color, right? Of course, for all of those, you have the normal, over, press, in focus, right? And the same for the button. So you can have a different color for the hover, a different color for the press, and a different color for the in focus, right? So when we go there, see here. So you can have a complex object here. So now we have the same type of controls. So it's pop-up menu and drop down is the same thing. Checkbox, radio button. Here, why I want to talk about this is because I want you to prevent having issues, right? Don't try to be smart with this. Don't even try to use the background of this because we have, look why. It's because we have no controls. We have very few control and you can screw up everything there, right? It's not something controllable very easily. So don't try to be smart here. Don't. Okay. The control you can have is, increase the size. So it's smart enough to do this, right? You can increase the padding here. That means the separation between the text and the icon, but we don't have the control. We don't have a very good control. See, it's both. He controlled this and he controlled this at the same time. So it is not very controllable. Okay. So even if you center the text, doesn't matter, right? Doesn't you can't center the text. You can do, pretty much you can do anything. You don't have, see, it's not something we can control very quickly, very, very easily. We can set the checkbox here, so you can change the color of the checkbox, right? That's the checkbox, and inside the checkbox you have an icon, right? So also this, but as I show you, don't try to be smart. Don't. Leave it alone. Leave it as simple as possible, right? Leave it as is. You can have a control on the line spacing. That works, right? That can be nice sometime. We have the traditional control of FileMaker control. It can be horizontal, can be vertical like this, right? We have this. This has been a traditional control, right? But that's it. That's it. If you want to build something with this, if you want to do something nice, don't put transparent, put everything transparent and use the traditional checkbox as simple as possible, right? So that's my advice with this object. I'm going to come back to this object. I'm going to show you what we can do with those objects. Of course, they're nice. They're very nice. We can use them. I use them, but don't even try to control those things because it's not necessary. And that's the reason why FileMaker didn't want to go there. They didn't want to go there and to give you many control that are unnecessary, right? So that's why, I tell you those control, even those, leaving them alone. Because, okay, imagine that you have to deal with states, you have to deal with, um, many components, right? It take time. And if you want to control those objects, place those objects and build something with those objects, and you have a lot of things to deal with, it will take time. It will be a time consuming, and we don't want that, right? We don't want that. So here I have, so how we build a theme, from scratch. So let's do a you know, new layout. And let's use the minimalist again, right? So when you build a theme, you need to drag all the object possible, right? So for example, the field, you have a field here. So this is a field. We want a field to be the simplest, minimalist possible, right? So no border. You can add a, a corner radius, right? You can do that. No background, right? And we want a natural, comfortable padding, which it's 5 on each side, and this will be the result. This is your field. This is a field. You understand? Okay. So now that I have this field built, right, we can save that object. But here the catch. You have the default status of the object, right? So you need to make sure that you define the default. The default needs to be the one you're going to use the most, right? Because each time you're going to drag a field, right? Each time you're going to drag a field, it will come with this, right? So if I save this, if I save the change to the current style, right? Now, if I drag another object here, it will come with this, correct? It will come with this. It will come with this style, right? Correct? Okay. So here I'm going to deal with the text later, right? So now I have a new default. If I change the defaults, right? If I change the default, then here you have a red button here. This become red, right? And here as well. That means a change has been made, right? If I undo, it's not red. If I redo, it's red. That means a change has been made, right? Correct? So let's build it, the way I want to build, right? In focus, press, okay. Background, background. So now I have an object here and I want to save this as default, right? So now everything okay. If I drag this, right, the objects come normally, come as what I designed, the defaults, right? Right? What happened now if I create another layout, right? I have the same theme, right? If I drag here, the object doesn't come. Here, yes, but not here. Why? Is because I didn't save the theme. I saved here. You can see here, I have my default, which is saved. But here, the theme minimalist is not saved. I didn't save the change I made here. So here you have a change here. So you can say, I'm going to save to the current theme. That means you're going to scrap the default theme, right? So when you start like this, you start with a base and you want to create your own. Don't save the change to the current theme because this theme will go away forever, correct? So what you want to do, the first time, you want to save as a new theme, right? And this is the webinar. So now I save to webinar. I save to a new theme. Doing this in this layout, saving the theme, automatically is switched from the minimalist to the webinar. So, but this layout here, still in minimalist. So now if I said I'm going there, right? I'm going there. Now this, right, will come automatically, right? On all layouts that share that theme, right? So you can see here what is no here in the theme here. You can see how many layouts you share, right? How many layouts you have. So I have 2 layouts using the webinar, and I have 1 using the Morpheus, right? I have 0 using this and 0 using this, right? So those are the theme I use in the history of the file. And they stay there until I delete them. I cannot delete a theme if I have a layout using it. I can delete a theme if this says 0, can remove them, right? Only if it says 0. So now what happened, right? So I have my theme, my webinar theme, right? And I'm going to change this. So I have two layouts, right? I have this layout and this layout, two layouts using the same theme. What happens if I do this? I change this and I save this. What? All the objects with the same style default change as well in that layout at that point. If I go there, well, I'm using webinar, but they didn't change. Why? Because I didn't save the what's the name? I didn't save the theme. I just saved the theme for that current layout. Correct? So that means I can come here and have another webinar with a different style. And I can save the default on that layout. So that means this webinar here, I didn't save here. And this one, I didn't save here. That means if I drag an object here, it came red. If I drag an object here, it came blue. Correct? But now, let's say you have this situation on many objects, on many layouts. You use the same base. You use the same webinar base, right? On both, but they are all different. They've been altered. They have been altered. Correct? See? See? They have been altered. Now, what happened if, so you can have you can have a custom theme for each layout, right? You understand? So if I create a new layout here and I use webinar and I drag the object, it came on the original. The last time I saved the theme, it was like this. So you won't be able to get those styles. Those styles here belong to that layout. This to this layout. And here, I create a new layout using the base of the last saved theme. So now what happened if I do something like this? I come here and I say, I want to save this to the theme. What happened? Let's find out, right? This happened. Hold on. I saved the theme and yeah. So let me explain what happened here. I saved the theme on this one, correct? But this one has its own custom styles. Saving the theme in this layout didn't change this one. Why? Is because it has something custom and FileMaker didn't want you to lose your custom thing. You save this with the blue background, right? But this one had a custom. It was altered. It was altered from the original state. So it didn't came with the blue. It stayed as is, and he say, hey, I didn't save it. This is another version. You have custom stuff here. I don't want you to lose them. But what happened to the layout I created using the base of the theme? It got altered. So that's a problem. I mean, imagine that, you know, you use this, you have many layouts. Using the base, you create a layout, right? And you drag and drag and drag, right? Using webinar without changing it. You have another layout and you drag all of those. So now I have this layout, this layout, this layout, this layout, right? And what happens if you say, well, I want to change this. I save the style. I save the theme. Well, all your layout gets changed. And that can be a nightmare because if you say, okay, if you say something crazy like this, right? And you do something crazy and you save styles and you save this, well, all your objects are like this, like, but this no. But see, some yes, that's the problem. So it's really, really difficult to master this because, so let me explain. When I changed that layout, when I changed that theme, I changed from the base, I changed the background, but the text was from the base. The custom was the red, but the text wasn't custom, right? Only the background. So when I save this here, let's save again. When I save this, right, here, it changed what's not custom. So for example, if I change this, right, and I change, I don't know, I put a border, right? I do this, and I change this, right? And I save the style, I save the theme. Well, I got everything that is not custom from the base of the theme. The background still red because that was changed, altered, right? You understand that? So something now, right? There, this is what the problem is. When you change an object, right? You need to make sure what you do, correct? Because you're not safe. So this button here, the best way to handle this is to have a flat, right? Don't change the style of an object like crazy, right? So you start with a base, you know, you start with a base that is simple, right? So you start with a base that is simple. Let's delete this. So we start with a base that is simple, right? So and there's no way to revert this. Even if you have a backup, you can't revert this. You can't, right? There's no way to revert that. So that's why, you need to make sure that of what you do, right? So what people says,
Sorry, I was muted. It seems all people are saying all good so far. Don't alter too much. We have an interesting comment saying, uh, seems like it's not worth doing as you can really mess up your layouts that you spend hours creating.
yes, this is true. You can mess up your entire file and spend days fixing it, right? Days. So now, let's say you have different objects, right? So you want to build different objects and stuff like this, right? So, and you have different colors. So let me explain how we can go and get custom colors, right? So I don't know if I can open a file here and let me open a file in this computer. So something I want to show you, right? So when you build an object, so you have the default. So you start with the defaults, you save it. So when you're sure you have a nice default, right? So this is a little bit too much, but let's see. So you have a nice default here, save and save, right? So you have a nice default, right? It looks great, right? Correct, right? Looks nice. So you want to build other objects based on this, right? So you duplicate this, right? And now I'm going to build the default for other style, for other objects, right? So this is a edit box, but now we have the drop down list. Drop down list, right? Includes the arrow. See, it changed completely. So until I can select the drop down list, but at the moment I said, show me the arrow, boom, it came to the original, like minimalist stuff. See the problem? You think you're okay because you say, okay, oh, the drop down is, yeah, but if you include, boom, it's no longer okay. So you need to go there and manipulate those. So no background, no border, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, right? So now we get pretty much something similar. Of course, so you're done with this. So you do the hover state, the press state, and the in focus, which I want the border in focus. And in focus, I want the background. I will show you why. And the press state as well. I want the background. I will show you why. And then you need to go to the button. I don't want this. I don't want this. And the icon, I'm okay with a black icon like this. It looks great. So now I have my drop down, right? I have my drop down. Now that I have my drop down, I'm doing the same thing. I duplicate this, right? I mean, before I want to save that object. The default here is for a drop down list. This is an edit box. So this default is for the edit box. This default now is for the drop down list. So I'm not going to change this. I'm going to change this. So now I have a drop down default. That means if I go there and I say, I want that to be a drop down with a list and a button, boom, my style came, correct? So now we do a pop-up menu, right? Pop-up, right? So that's the same thing. It came back to mom. It came back, where we start, and we need to do it again. But I have a trick for you. Those two objects are cousin, right? Related cousin. So I can do this. I copy the entire style, the entire object style. That means this copy all of those. If I copy this, I copy only the normal. If I copy here, I copy all the styles. So I copy this, I select this object, and I paste it. They are cousin. So now I get the 5, 5, 5, 5, no border, the 5 here, the no. And when I go to the in focus, boom, I have as this because they are cousin. They are cousin. So now let's do this. Let's continue. I'm going to do the checkbox. So you see here the checkbox now is completely messed up, right? Completely messed up. So I need to fix this, right? Well, don't try to be smart here, it doesn't work. A little bit here, like 5 here, even if a little bit more, right? Like 10, right? See here, right? And then we can 12, we can increase a little bit of this, like this, right? And then, so we do, I want the same for all those states, right? I want the same for all those states. So I copy the normal and I make sure that all the states are the same. They are the same except for this one. I copy the normal and I want to paste to the in focus. I copy from normal, I paste in the in focus, right? So I don't know why it's rectangular and not square though. So the checkbox here, this is where you control this, right? So you control this, right? So you control this, the color of the box, because you can do this if you want, right? This control the box, right? E9 is a little bit too, let's do E6. So I have the control here. Now, I don't, for the hover, the press and the in focus. I don't want a different state here. So I said, I borrow normal. I think I can do that. Yeah, I can. Sometimes you can't do that. They don't allow you. I don't know why. I have no idea why. So we need to do the same here. So I want no background, right? On pressed E6 and on in focus E6. Yeah. Okay. So, okay. So now I have my objects, right? So see, it's not easy to control an object like this, so you don't want to go crazy, right? So now I have one, right? I have no idea why it came rectangular, but it's okay. And now I have the icon. Icon I want black, it's okay, right? So I have my style. So now I can save this one on pop-up menu, and I can save this one on drop-down, on checkboxes. Now I can duplicate this and do the radio button, which will be the same thing. So I can they are very similar objects, like this one, like these two, they're cousin. I can borrow the checkbox and paste on the radio button, right? So because they're the same, so I got the same thing, the same behavior uh, on all, right? So same color. So you can do that. So when you do a drop down, you can get a pop-up. When you build a checkbox, you can get a radio. Now, I'm going to build another cousin object, right, of a drop down. It's a cousin. This one, the drop down calendar. Again, it came to mom. It came to mom because, I added the icon. Without the icon, that's okay. But since I add the icon, boom, right? It came to mom, right? I mean, so what you can do is to borrow this style and paste here. Why didn't come? Oh, include the arrow. So you can copy the style of the drop down and paste here. So now you have a similar object, they're cousin, the same object, just the icon different. The icon is different and the action is different, right? Correct? So now we have plenty of object here, right? I can save this. So I have this, I have this, they're all saved. So now, if I go to my other layout, right? If I do this, and if I do this, I don't have the style. Why? Because I didn't save the theme. So now I'm going to save the theme. Be careful because there's no warning. They don't say, are you sure? Are you sure you want to do that? Right? And you can revert, even revert, you can, no, when it's done, it's done. You can revert. When it's done, it's done. When you save this, it's over. No warning. Don't ask me why. No warning. No warning saying, oh, you will screw up all your layout. No, they don't say you. They don't warn you. But here now, this object changed because I saved the theme. Correct? Correct this? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So now you understand that. So why I I suggest you guys do something like something simple. Now you understand why. Because you don't want to deal with all those things. At the beginning, it's important. I mean, it's great to be able to have this tool here, which is impressive. It's impressive of precision, right? And how deep you can go. But you can use some of them, not all of them at all time. Or it's not because you can have a border that you need a border. It's not because you have a background you need a background. It's not because you have a hover, press, front focus that you need to have a different style for every single state, for every single component. It's not because it's there that you must do it. Don't use what you need. You use what you need, but you don't use all of them because they're there. But you want to start the as simple as possible, right? And you don't need to have all this craziness, right? And I'll show you why. And why is I can't enter this? Okay. I now also in the theme. So this objects, and then tomorrow we're going to work on other objects like this. But other thing you can do on the theme, right? You can change this. Also, this, you can save them in the theme, right? So also, you can change the style and save the style of their backgrounds and parts, right? So that's cool. So I'm going to replicate pretty much my theme that I have here, right? So I'm going to replicate this. So for example, the background, you don't want it white, never. You want it light gray, which is a standard gray you have everywhere, right? That is default. That means if you do this, look this here, the background is white, right? Well, if I save the theme, the background here is no longer white, correct? Now, the top here, right? The top, we have many tops, right? So we have those top navigation, title header, all of those you can, all of those you can put a different style, right? For example, the top navigation, I want it white, but I want this, right? So now this will be the default. I save it and I save the style, right? So let's remove those for now. So now this is what I get. I get a gray background here and a white background here with a separation here. If I go to the other layout, I save the theme. So now I have the same thing on all my layouts. And if I create a new layout, well, I get it. I get my style and I get this, correct? Right? So so we can save those things also in the theme that I don't know if you guys knew about this, right? So what about the text default? The default the text, this one is okay, Arial 12, that the good text, right? So now, do we have any question? I'm surprised that we don't have any.
Uh, Mostly, I think you've been doing a pretty thorough job of explaining. Because someone said, oh, they were confused, but then I asked them to explain the confusion. They said that as you continued to talk about it, they understood.
Okay. That means I'm getting I'm getting better at doing webinars. So
So if you have any questions, anyone, please ask them so I can forward them to Nick.
yes. Okay. So, but that's very cool, right? To have this type of understanding like this. So
Hmm.
now we have the default, we have this. Something maybe you didn't know. Maybe you didn't know, right? So let's say I'm going to copy an object here with a color. So let's say from the internet, from another file, I have an object and I want to start building my color palette. Sorry guys, I want to open this object here, but I don't know why it takes so long because I want to show something, but it takes forever, so I don't know. Okay, never mind. So I can do something else here. I can do this. change to Morpheus, drag a button, and use this. Okay. So let's say, oh, now it's open. Okay. I have a color, right? So, and I want to do a button, correct? And this button, I want a standard button, the default button, okay? We don't want border, we don't want that. We don't want that. I want the radius corner. I want this to be the same 555. I want the same Arial, but I want this color, right? And so this is what I want. I don't want backgrounds. I want nothing, right? I want like this. Very simple. So now I have this, right? I can copy this, paste here, paste here, paste here. So this button here now is standard. So for the same for the icon doesn't come here. Why? Because the button doesn't have an icon. So now I have the icons, right? When you double click on the button, you say, okay, show an icon, boom, it comes the icon. And I want the icon to be the same color on all states, right? On all state. Well, so now I have my button, right? Button. You have the power to put more space between, right? Between the text and the icon, right? Right? So I have my button here, but it's okay. I want to add, let's add a function here. I want to add some, styles that to improve the discoverability, right? So I want a hover state and a press state. But how I build this, right? Remember, I have a color here, this. If you drag the color here, so you select the color, you drag here. FileMaker give you 3 shade of blues, not 50 shade of gray, but it's 3 shade of blue. Sorry, I don't have 50 shade of gray. So you have 3 shade of, right, of blue automatically. And that works for all the colors, right? You can have for this, you can have for this. So pretty much, this is the color I'm using, right? So you have those. So now it's very easy to do an overstate and prestate. How? Well, I'm going to hover and I said the text, I want like this. And I'm going to press the text, I want like this, right? And the in focus, I want the same. And change those two. Normal, hover, press. Normally, I'm doing the opposite. That means I'm doing light on hover and darker on press. Same for the icon. This is my normal icon. Hover, light, press, darker. And now, see, I have it, right? So now I have this button. I can save that button and save the style, the theme. So if I go there and I build a button, the default button will come like this. Now we have a button. We saw that how we can build hover states easily with this nice smart system that FileMaker gave us, which is cool, by the way. I like it, right? Because that helped a lot to do this. But you know, we don't want hover state and stuff like this, right? So you will say, yeah, Nick, but this design is okay, but everything is in the air, right? Like this, yeah. And you want to say, yeah, but I want background. I want background. Okay, you want background. Okay, let's build a background. This will be your background, right? So you have a shape, and here we can play, right? The same border, white background, and we're going to add something else. We're going to add a shadow, right? So for the shadow, you can go, but really, really, crazy sometime, if you can go crazy, right? So here for the shadow, this is the best shadow ever. I spent hours. Black, 10% of opacity, right? One, so, right? So how I'm getting there? You have your color here and you go other color, and then here you have opacity, right? So you 10%. That's it. Then you say 1, 1. Then you say 10. The blur, you put 6, and the spread, you put 2. This is the results. Nice and clean. If you don't use this technique here of the opacity, you screwed, because you have opacity here, right? That's pretty much the same, right? But you need to go there, right? So 10 opacity, 6211. Otherwise, you do things that are not nice. They don't that doesn't look nice, right? So 1162, and keep the same for all your objects, right? Keep the same. Don't go far. 10, 6, 6, 1, 1. So now you have your background. Yeah, background, right? You have it. So to fix that problem here, for the text, you need to come with the same as this. For the text here, the text and the fields to be the same, right? But something weird here. Why is doing this? Okay. Then you can align them, right? You can align them. The numbers and this and this, right? For the text, right? They come aligned. So you can drag this, boom. But I need to save the state here. I need to save this, save the defaults, save the theme, and now you can drag. Yeah, they can come like this, but when if I go to another layout, it will come correct. No, no, it don't. Yeah, this is bothering me sometime. So don't put this for the defaults. I don't know. Sometimes it come okay, sometimes it doesn't. But anyway. right? So you have the background. So you don't use the background of the field. So you see me, you show me, I mean, you saw me putting a background only when you pressed and you hover and you in focus. I have a background. Why? I'll show you. I'm here and here I'm doing this. I have something like this. What happens if I don't have a background when I'm in focus? Happen this. So let's say you have something here. It doesn't, why doesn't come the, okay. Uh, and time 10, 0. It come like this. I don't have a background. I don't want a background by default, but when I'm in, I have one, right? This is this is why the control is cool. I have all the control I want, but you need to know when to use that, right? See? But if I put back the background here, that will be better, right? That's why I need that, right? Actually, I can revert to style. See, now I can do, I don't, it's covering, right? So that's why this controller is good because, you know, you can make the object nice and clean, right? So if we don't have any question, we can go. And tomorrow we do different style, how we can create multiple style and how we can get things, how you name it, right? So tomorrow will be more about this, right? Today was more about this. Tomorrow will be more about this and how you get different styles,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Which will be interesting and fun, I think, because
Yes, I think so.
I enjoy it. Uh, Thank you everybody for watching. I think I'll let you all go because I have a meeting. So,
Yeah, me too. That's why.
thank you, Nick. Thank
Thank you.
you.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye bye.